Hi, so today I have one of my beautiful clients with me, Hanna. She was on the Food Freedom program with me not so long ago, and I've invited her along to share a little bit about her journey in the Food Freedom program. So welcome, Hanna. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And firstly, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Hanna. I currently live in New Zealand. I came from South Africa. Um, I work in the IT sector as a project manager, and I've got an amazing husband and a 7-year-old son that's the apple of my eye. And I'm really passionate about nature and animals, and I am a little bit of a fashionista at heart.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, we connected a lot about with you about spending time in nature during our time together. So I know
Yes.
how much you love that and how it revitalizes you. So can you tell us a little bit about what life was like before the Food Freedom program?
Sure. So for me, I always felt out of control when it comes to food. And you would always kind of like let food take over, and then you'll feel guilty after you've had a binge. And I just felt like I can never really get that control. It's not something within my control. And obviously, it was affecting my health, it was affecting my weight, it was affecting my overall self confidence and how I looked, at life. I mean, because how you perceive yourself is a big part of life, and food sometimes becomes a big part of your life. So I think for me, it was really just that feeling of out of controlness when it came to food that really made me reach out, I suppose.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I know a lot of women that come speak to me have this very similar experiences. So, how did you treat food before the Food Freedom program? I know you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but what was that like for you?
So I think, it was always like either you go through stages of starvation or stages of trying to avoid certain foods, the sugars and the carbs, and you try to stick to what people tell you. And there's so many different confusing messages out there. And you'll go through a stage where, after you've avoided some foods for so long, that you actually just, when you do have an opportunity to eat it, you just overindulge. And then, as I mentioned, basically the guilt just sets in, and it's just a vicious circle, essentially.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, I appreciate that so much because I've been through that exact same cycle. I call it the binge guilt cycle because it's just, that's how it happens. You eat and you feel guilt, and then you eat because you feel more guilt.
Yes.
So, um, thank you for sharing. And what do you think made you reach out to me? What was the tip of the iceberg for you that's actually said, hey, Estelle, can we talk?
I think for me is like, I was in a certain stage of my life where I mentioned my son wants to go out and play and he wants to do fun things. And it was at the point where I didn't really want to go out and do certain things because I didn't feel good about myself. And I know it had to do with food. And at that time, I saw you posted a lot of, food freedom program ideas and messages, and the journey that you've been on. And it was just like an instant connection because at that stage, you were almost talking to my soul, to where I was at that stage. And it was like, this has to be a message. There has to be something hidden in this. And that's why I reached out.
Beautiful. Yes. And we had 12, I think, yeah, it was 12 weeks back then, beautiful weeks together. And it was just such an amazing journey for you and for me to watch you flourish and just take those beautiful steps within the program. So what was your biggest aha moment during our time together?
So there were really a lot of aha moments, and I think every session was, at least 2 or 3 aha moments. But for me, the ones that stand out the most, I basically have two. The one is basically that food doesn't control me, but that I control food. And for me, that was like a big aha moment. Just realizing that and truly believing that. So that was really a big standout. And the second one is that the part where the emotion that you are feeling, or the craving that you are feeling, is really the emotion wanting to express itself. And you always just think that when you've got a craving, that is just, it's something to do with stress, or it's something to do with you just really want sugar, or you just really want a carb. But you didn't really make that connection that the emotion is at the heart of it. And I think that was really just like probably the biggest aha moment for me.
Oh, absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us and for everyone who's listening. I know that would mean a lot to anyone who wanted to hear more about the Food Freedom Program. And just given your experience inside the Food Freedom Program, would you recommend doing the program to anyone who was interested?
Absolutely. I think for me, the standout and the key difference in the Freedom Food Program is really that it touches on every aspect of your life and of your being. So it touches on your psychology, your physical state, and your spiritual state. And all those together, you start seeing the full picture, and it just allows you to basically see food in a different light. And there's so many handy practical tips that you can get from that. Um, I think for me, it's just that you need to be open to change, and you need to be in a state of welcoming that into your life. And if you're willing to do that, this is absolutely will set you up for success.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. And that is an absolute, like, beautiful summary of of your journey through the Food Freedom Program. And I thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Yes, I think just in terms of, so obviously the Food Freedom Program is something that you've created. And I think, Estelle, that if it wasn't for you and the way that you approach things and the way that you engage with your clients, even though the content of the Freedom Program is really amazing, it's really just you that put that together. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, just for your very calm nature, truly listening, truly engaging with your clients. And yes, it was really an amazing journey. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. And thank you so much for coming on this interview.
Great. No, thank you so much.
Beautiful.